I don't know what else really there's to say. Obviously, an embarrassing result. Humiliating is maybe a better word. What I told the players was, there's no manual for this as a head coach. But I do know I've been through a lot of storms. I've been booed out of stadiums and outbacks and other places that what they can't do is blame each other. If they need something to blame, they can blame me. I apologized to the team for not getting them ready for that type of physical nature of football. And I'll say to the fans, you deserve more. City of Birmingham deserves more. If you're going to be angry, please be angry at me. Don't be angry at our kids. Our kids are giving us everything they have. And it's my job to make sure something like this never happens again.
What do I guess this is hindsight, but what do you feel like you could have done this week to get them prepared for that? You said you didn't think they were prepared for that.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought we had a good plan. We practiced really hard. We had a really intense week of practice trying to prepare for the physicality. But John just does a great job. It's part of his culture. Toughness is his culture. It's a one-word culture. And they were just so much more tougher, more physical, and just kind of overwhelmed us.
Coach, what was your assessment of Jalen Kitna today?
So he was a warrior. An absolute warrior. He had very little protection, took a lot of big hits. Some hits where I didn't think he'd get up, popped up, made some really nice plays under duress, extended some plays. Now, was careless with the ball a couple times. He hasn't started a game in 4 years, so we did expect there might be some carelessness there. It was less than anticipated. The first interception is not his fault. He's a very talented kid, a very tough kid, and he showed that today.
In that sense, when you look back at the first 4 games, would it have been helpful for him, or 3 games, whatever it was, would it have been helpful for him to get some snaps, at some point?
I don't like doing that to the starter. Jacob's so respected, has invested so much into this thing. I've always thought it was weird to, take your starter out of the game to get somebody reps. I'm not saying it's wrong. I just personally always thought it was tough situation to put on the starting quarterback, especially if he gets into a rhythm. So it really never came up. Jalen's done a phenomenal job preparing in the shadows and knowing that at some point, for whatever reason, he may get a chance to play. And with Jacob being banged up, he got the chance today.
Coach, I'm curious what the temperature of the locker room was after this, and what was your message? Because this Tulane team is a really good team that has done some stuff the past few years.
Yeah, they are, Ryan. But Arkansas is a good team too, and Navy's a good team. Army's everybody's a good team. You don't let 70 spot on you, and have whatever was it 5 first downs at halftime or something. I would hope that the messaging since the time I got here is resonating in this storm that we're in, which is making sure that they're not blaming each other, making sure they're staying close together. And that's why I do think, listen, I'm not just saying as coach speak. When you give up 70 points and have no success offensively until junk time, it's the head coach's fault. It's not the coordinator's fault. It's head coach's fault. So, I've been on the other end of that. I knew at the time, you don't tell your kids to stop playing. He apologized for the pass. I said, no, John, it's our job to stop you. But my point being is that if they need somebody to blame, they can blame me, but I don't want them blaming each other. I want these kids to stay close together. I want them to have lifelong relationships. Now, I do think, they need to look in the mirror as we look at the film, and I'm sure they'll be as critical as we are to try to improve some things, but this does not need to be a finger-pointing contest.
Coach Jonathan Hoppy with WBRC. You mentioned the city of Birmingham deserving more. What is kind of your message to the city and the fans that join you in the frustration after a loss like this?
Just that, they deserve more. They deserve better product. They deserve more out of me. So I'll continue to try to do the best I can. So it hasn't been for a lack of effort.
Was it close with Zeno going into this week? I know we talked Monday about the injury, or did you kind of plan the whole week with Kitna? And
I planned the whole week as if Jacob wouldn't play, so we'll take it day by day, and we'll know more next week.
When a game like this, and when you're down by so much, and calling the late timeouts there, while trying to get the ball back type thing, what is that as much to sort of send a message type thing? Or?
No, trying to play as much football as possible. You get better at football by playing football, and I've always believed in trying to play the game as long as it can possibly go, because you get to play more football and you get to evaluate more, get more players in. I've just believed in that forever. Trying to slow the game down and all that stuff. These kids work really hard and they want to play football. So, your receivers still want to have an opportunity to catch the ball, and we need to evaluate offensive linemen. We want to get other running backs in the game, so we want to get the ball back. Now, when I called the second one, I thought we had stopped them. And I went to the ref. I'm like, hey, you don't have to call that one. It was too late at that point. But, I want to try to get the ball back with a minute to go and work on our 2-minute offense.
And I know you're obviously still trying to digest this right now, but how do you move forward from a day like this? I mean, what's the key, I guess, to moving forward?
The secret's always in the dirt, Steve. Like, it's in the work. I've seen miraculous turnarounds in football. People don't want to hear it. I get it, But as part of the worst franchise in football in the NFL, and a few years later, we're, winning playoff games. So it's doable. It always seems so dark when you're in the middle of the storm, and it seems hopeless. But if you keep working, you keep believing, you keep treating people right, you keep getting support, things can turn. They really can. But, you're sitting here today, and if you're on the outside looking in, there's no reason to believe any of that. I see that. You can only go with the evidence that you have, and the evidence isn't very good. But, internally, it's not as hopeless as it seems.
Anything else?
I appreciate you guys. Thank you.